Hey all, Hipper here. So today we're looking at Sea of Conquest and if it is indeed still fun here 6 months later. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, of course, if you enjoy the videos. And like I said, in this video I'll have a look at the game. I've been playing it for 6 months and as you can see here I have diligently logged in for 122 days in a row. And I have been playing more days than that, but there was one day I think where I didn't log in. And I'll tell you my thoughts on the game here 6 months later. So first of all, I just want to say that any game that keeps my attention for 6 months is already fantastic. And I have been loving this game for as long as I've played it, and I still like it. But I must say that my interest have perhaps diminished a little bit. So first reason for that, there's just not enough build variety. Now, by that I don't mean there's not enough commanders or trinkets and stuff like that, because there's plenty of that. I mean, there's not enough archetypes in the game. Like, everything is about damage, and that in particular makes it really boring for me quite quickly, especially for PvP. So, for example, like there's plenty of ships to pick up, and you can, change the skills a little bit, but all the skills are always to do with damage. There's nothing about stealth. Or there's a little bit about tanking and a little bit about healing, but it's not very prolific. And the main thing in this game is always about power. And as fun as that is for some people, I find that a little bit limiting. And it's a bit of a shame because there's so many heroes, so much high quality content in this game. And I'd say the PvP in particular, or the combat in the game, kind of lets it down. But I'll get into that later in the game as well here, or in the video, that is. I mean, some people experiment with, exotic builds, but in the end, it always comes down to that little power number, and especially your fleet power. And that is a bit disappointing. And one way this could be spiced up was to introduce, the classic types from RPGs, like a healer, a damage dealer, a DPS, and stuff like that, and have some stealth elements, for example. I don't know how you implement that, but surely it should be possible. And of course, what I really want is just like in Diablo, I want to be able to spec gems, for example, into my everything in the game, my heroes, my items, my ships, my ports, like anything really, to make everything a little bit more personalized. Another thing I think is sorely missing and really could raise the level of this game here is to implement crafting better. Like, there's hardly any crafting, and I don't know if you really consider cooking for pirates crafting. I don't know. I don't know, but you could easily implement, far more exploration in the game, where you sail around, you pick up resources somewhere, you take them back, you refine them, you turn them into new guns or sails or whatever on your ship, right? Or new hulls, for example. Like, it's kind of boring that every flagship always looks the same, except if you purchase one of the skins. I think that would be something that at least would make me spend more time on the game. So, resources and crafting is something that I think they really missed out on putting in the game, but, maybe it'll get there. Alright, so I touched upon this earlier, and it's the fact that the combat, or the PvP, whatever you want to call it, also PvE for that matter, in this game is really simplistic. Like, all you gotta do is sail up to an enemy and click them, and that's it. And that's one of the main reasons that I have just completely stopped worrying about PvP. I don't care about it at all. I don't care about the power of my ship. I don't care about if my builder is optimal or anything like that, because I don't do PvP. I just think it is so boring. And of course, lots of people like to sink other players, and there's no repercussions in that. You sink and that's it. And for me, that actually helps me in completing my my weekly damage to other players, because I don't do that myself. Well, for example, if you remember in the game's introduction, there's actually far more interesting and engaging combat here, and I guess it's a way of making the game like lure you in. But you see how you can interrupt other skills by using your skills in a timely fashion. I mean, at least this adds a little bit of extra, strategy or tactical stuff to the game here. And it's not all about the power, right? It's also about timing, and hopefully, like, you could do this in a way where you'd set up your skills in particular ways, and you'd be able to, trick the enemies. So this would be like a fantastic addition, and I don't know why this isn't really how you do combat in the game instead of just clicking other ships. I think that is so boring. But anyway, hopefully the developers watch this video and they might actually, give this a bit of thought. So it's not all negative, because this game still has very high quality assets. I don't think I've seen a game with higher poly characters than the ones in this game here. And in general, everything is very polished and works beautifully. Like I know Season 3 is a little bit dull, but usually the maps are full of life with snow and ice or tropical stuff going on. And look into the ship and you have cute little animations showing the skeleton in this case here just doing weird stuff. I like that, and it shows that a lot of work has gone into the game. And that just brings me back to the combat aspect, which kind of is an area where they should have put in a little more work. But in general, the assets are super high quality in this game here. So the kind of boring combat, the lack of exploration, the lack of crafting, it kind of makes for boring tasks in the game, especially the Grand Line. We won't even mention that anymore. But a problem in this game here is that because the combat is so limited, and combat is a big part of this game, that in turn turns any event that's anything to do with combat into a boring event. And straight clashes, like I'm showing here, is the perfect example. Because this is what combat is in this game. You sail up to another ship, you click it, and then you just battle it out. And I almost lose to a level 26 here. But what I'm saying here is that it's very nice that there is a skip button for this stuff here, because it is just entirely way too boring for a game like this. So if we go back to the fighting that was introduction that I showed earlier, why don't we have that? So over the 6 months, the developers have shown that they really listen to the community. There's updates coming out all the time. There's patch notes with them, and everything is explained very well. Now, that is, of course, in contrast to the game itself, where almost nothing is explained, but whatever. we'll leave that as it is. I mean, I see people in Season 3 who still don't understand the basics of the game, and they've been playing it as long as I have. But anyway, patch notes, updates, patches in general, excellent. Another thing I wanted to mention was the seasons, because I really enjoy the seasons. I like to jump from one, biosphere into another one, and I like to have new tasks, and most importantly, I like to have new customization and, mechanics in the game added. And I know I give Season 3 a hard time all the time, but really, that season hasn't introduced anything new. And I'd probably say that Season 3 is to blame for at least some of my boring time spent with this game here lately. I mean, Season 2 I loved. I thought it was great, and how they added trinkets into the mix, and there's so many other improvements. But Season 3 is very disappointing, and hopefully Season 4 will make up for it. Otherwise, I think that'll be the end of the game. So in conclusion, I have been playing this game for 6 months, and like I said in the beginning, that's already a huge accolade to this game here. It's very rare that I play a game for more than a few weeks at the time, and it's only games like Skyrim, World of Warships Legends, and the really big games that even get close to a month of playtime for me. Not even talking 6 months here, right? So I've already got my money's worth, absolutely, and I still play the game, and I'm kind of waiting for Season 4 to see if it'll improve the game and give me something else to do. If it's going to be the same as Season 3, I'm probably gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna complain in videos. But until then, I can say that yes, I've had a great time 6 months with the game. It's going a little bit downhill now, and hopefully the developers will fix that with Season 4. But we'll see once it rolls out for me in a week or two. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this game, if you played it as long as I have, or if you only played it for 3 days. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. See you out there.